This right here is my favorite album of all time. This right here is a masterpiece. It is 21 Pilots' best work. It is the best concept album I have ever listened to. It has some of the best production I've ever heard in my life, and the lyrics hit hard on every single song. Even if you're not a fan of 21 Pilots, even if you don't like the band that much, even if you don't like these songs that much, you can still appreciate how amazing this album sounds. So this is my trench ranking. I tried, man. I'm the guy who's, I always rank stuff. I rank stuff on this channel. I like ranking movies on my podcast that I have with my friend. I like ranking everything, even foods and stuff. You ask anyone what my topic of conversation is, I always talk about rankings of everything. I have rankings in my notes of shit that doesn't even matter. I have rankings of favorite foods, favorite drinks, stuff like that. It's stupid. But for some reason, I cannot bring myself to rank the songs off this album. They are all basically perfect in my opinion. And while I like some more than others, I still have to say every song in this album is perfect. Like the other 21 Pilots albums, they may be my favorite band, but they do have some skips. This album has no skips. Maybe I won't listen to certain songs when I'm not in the mood for them, but this album is perfect the whole way through. If you don't know 21 Pilots or you don't know about this aspect of them, this album and every album before and after all has lore in it. It's all telling one big story, and the fact that this album makes sense within the context of the story of the lore, but also can make sense in the context of you just thinking about what the lyrics mean in real life is amazing. No one really writes in duality like that. And the music videos and stuff, they all connect, and it's one big story, and it's crazy. I'm not gonna talk about a ranking because I don't have a ranking. I'm just gonna go in tracklist order from Jumpsuit to Leave the City. So we're gonna start off with Jumpsuit. Jumpsuit has to be one of the best alternative rock experimental songs I've ever heard in my life. Just how it switches up from being a fast rock song to a slow burn into him screaming is incredible. And the music video makes this shine. But if you listen to all of 21 Pilots' discography, even in this album alone, this one really, really stands out. I know a lot of their songs sound different, but this one just sounds way different. Number 2 is Levitate. Levitate is probably the only song where it's all rap the whole way through. It's super short. It's got that trap beat, but instead it hits harder because it's real drums. Josh, the drummer, he's going crazy with it. It's not 808 beats in the back that you get off GarageBand and shit like that. And the lyrics are good. There's a car radio reference in here. And this is one of the most fun to sing along to, by far. Morph is incredible. Morph is one of the best songs on this album for me. I just say that because the instrumentation and the production is crazy. Tyler produced this whole album in his basement back 2016 to 2018. And you would not be able to tell, this is crazy, crazy good production. There's one part where it goes from him singing really high notes, which is crazy, into him rapping. And the beat feels like it's being broken up. I think it's the first verse of the song. And it feels like it's being broken up in the background. And it really, adds a lot to it, which is crazy. And a lot of these songs are very top heavy. And then the bottom is kind of just the second half is kind of just partying. And having a lot of instruments and repeating the same thing over and over. But I don't mind it on this album as much as I do on Vessel. Obviously, this is my favorite album. I think this song is perfect. I think all three of these songs so far are perfect. Number 4, My Blood. Dude, this song is amazing. The bass and the high notes should not work well together, but they do. And it makes a crazy ass combination that's good. This is probably the most poppy song off this album, or maybe the most poppy sounding 21 Pilots song ever, but it still sounds different. Tyler has to have a lot of stuff going on in the background in the production. He can't just have, one thing going on, one instrument, which we'll get into later. But this song is really good. It's probably towards the bottom of my list, but it's amazing. Number 5, Chlorine. This one, dude. The vibe of this song and the way it sounds when you're listening to it just sounds like it's sliding past your ears. It's the most crazy phenomenon I've really ever had with a song before. And the piano that you hear in the background just adds so much to it. And the meaning of the lyrics the sound, everything, the music video. Like, you don't want to get up and dance to it, but you want to rap it and you want to just like bob your head to it. And it's such a unique experience whenever you listen to this song. It's a shame that this isn't like, it probably is the most popular off of Trench, but it's a shame that it's not like in the stressed out Ride Heathens area where it's like super popular on the radio, because it deserves to be. Even if it's 5 minutes long, it doesn't really overstay its welcome, and it changes up enough in the second half where it doesn't seem like it's too different, but you also don't get tired of the song. Number 6 is Smithereens. I used to think this was one of the worst ones. Now I like it a lot more. I think it's really cool that, you know, Tyler just stops the album midway through to dedicate a song to his wife. And while there's like no lore in this one, it's a very sweet song, and I like it enough, and I feel like it's a good break between Chlorine and Neon Gravestones, coming in at track number 6, to just have a little breather. It's like a nice little intermission, but it feels really nice and sweet. And the way he's singing isn't very annoying like it could have been if he made the song back in like 2013. It's very tasteful, and I love the instrumentation of how jazzy it feels. Number 7 is Neon Gravestones. This has to be my favorite off the album. It has to do with glorifying suicide, and Tyler, not once does he say the word suicide in the song, which I think is great. Apparently he wasn't like, people were in the production were like, I don't know if you can put this song on the album, like it's a little bit too heavy-handed, and if it's taken the wrong way, you could get like seriously like canceled. He was like, no, like this is the backbone of the whole lore of the whole album. I'm not going to go into that, but this is basically not the title track. I would say the title track is Bandito, but if there was a name for the album, I feel like it would be called something like Bandito or Neon Gravestones. And we'll get to Bandito later, but Neon Gravestones really, like, the rapping, the sound. It's a slow song, but it's not just piano. There's like little ambiance things in the background that make you feel like you're like laying down and going through something, because that's the vibe that Tyler wants to present, and he does it well. And like every time I hear this song, I want to cry. Like, it's so good, and it's so unique in the discography of 21 Pilots, but this whole album is, and it's perfectly placed. It's right in the middle. Number 8 is The Hype, and you know, The Hype is awesome. I love this song. It's a poppy song as well, but it's more fast-paced, and it kind of sounds like Wonderwall, but not really, by Oasis. And you know, it's got a lot of those 21 Pilot isms. Like, it has it has the ukulele, it has screamo, it has a little bit of rapping, it has everything, and the message is great. And while it's not one that, you know, is my favorite off this album, I still love it, and it's great to listen to, and it just puts me in a good mood whenever I listen to it. At number 9, we have one of my favorites as well, Nico and the Niners. This one can sound a little bit weird if you don't like really know 21 Pilots, and it's very, very lore heavy. Like, there's no way that you can take this as a real life song. Nico and the Niners are in the lore of the 21 Pilots universe, and I think that's great. I love the way this song sounds. I love how at the end part they reverse the beat and then Tyler raps over it. I think that's super unique. You want to talk about experimental music that sounds good? This is experimental music that sounds good. This is amazing. And while it might not be your cup of tea, when you listen to it over and over, it's amazing. You pick up a new thing every time, and this is one of the most fun 21 Pilots songs to sing along to. Speaking of fun 21 Pilots songs to sing along to, we got another type of reggae, longer song. It's called Cut My Lip. This one is amazing. There's not that much to it. There's not many lyrics, but the background and the vibe of the whole song really just like make you want to sit back and just like bob your head and rock on a chair and just relax. It's like borderline island music, and I love this about that track. This used to be my least favorite off the album, and now it's like it's got to be top 5, top 4. I can't rank them, but this is one of the greats off this album. Number 11 is Bandito. This one is probably my least favorite, just because it's a little bit too slow and it drags for a while. It's almost a 6-minute song, and you know, I still like it. I still think it's a great song. Instead of a 10 out of 10 like the other ones, it might be a 9. But again, this album is perfect, And I say that because even if this song isn't perfect, it fits really well into the lore. And the only issue is that they could have cut out like a few, not verses, but a few times where the chorus drags on. And it's not a huge complaint. It's a bit of a nitpick, but I still think that it's really, really solid. And I love this song. I just have to be in the specific mood to listen to it. Not that I skip it often. I don't really skip any song off this album if I'm listening to it the whole way through. But it's more of one that I'll listen to it when I'm listening to the album rather than go off and find it on my own and listen to it that way like I would with the other songs off this album. Number 12 is Pet Cheetah. Pet Cheetah is amazing. The intro, the slow chorus, the rapping, the end, you feel like you're at a concert whenever you listen to the song. And this song really makes you feel like Tyler is producing this stuff in his basement in the best way possible. Like you really feel like you can see Tyler mixing beats and doing stuff in his basement to perfect this song. And this is one of the last songs they made on this album, and you can tell because it's got so much to it and it's so unique, and it's incredible. I love Pet Cheetah. Number 13 is another thing where the lore doesn't exactly hit the same, but it's about his grandfather, and instead of being a sad, slow song about how his grandfather passed away, it's a celebration of his grandfather, and it's talking about, hey, listen, I made a song for you. I know you wanted one, and it sucks that, you know, you're not going to be able to hear it before you pass away, but I'm dedicating this to you because I love you. And, you know, at the end, he's like, I can't wait to have a lunch with you again. Like, that shit is sweet. It sounds jazzy like Smithereens. It's really fun. You feel like, you know, you can cry along to the song, but you can also vibe to it, which is pretty unique. But you know, that's 21 Pilots thing. You know, like it's contradiction. It's a contradiction because of how happy it sounds. But Legend is great, and I think it's placed perfectly on the album, where it's not the last song, but it's the second to last song, where it's like a nice goodbye to a part of the album. But the real goodbye to the end of the album is Leave the City. This one is incredible. Again, it can't just be a piano ballad. Tyler has to have some ambiance in the background, and this song is amazing. A lot of the songs are 4 minutes on this album, and you don't really feel it. And this one, I feel like you do feel it, but not in a bad way. It feels longer, but it feels long in a good way. And I say that because it takes time to breathe, and it takes time to set the scenery. And by the end of the album, you finally understand what part of the lore is, even if you're not like a huge fan, like, you know, I am, obviously. And you can really understand what certain parts of certain things mean just by this song. And I think this song is a masterpiece. I think it's the perfect way to end the album. And yeah, that's my, you know, talking about Trench. It's not really ranking, but I wanted to put ranked on here because I want to rank every single 21 Pilots album. I just can't rank this. I cannot rank my favorite album. The songs are all too good, and I listen to them all the time. And yeah, this is my most streamed album of all time, so I listen to these songs all the time. I never get tired of any of them. Maybe sometimes I need a break, but I can listen to this album all day, and it would not be torture. And I do sometimes. So, you know, if you haven't checked out Trench, you should. And if it's not your favorite, you know, go back, listen to it, watch some videos on the lore, and let me know what you think, because I love this album. It's one of the greats. It's my favorite album of all time. And 21 Pilots, honestly, probably can never get better than this. This is their peak. I love the other stuff. You know, Scaled and Icy is great. It's my second favorite 21 Pilots album. But nothing ever is going to be able to beat Trench. Peace.
Last year, I needed change of pace. Couldn't take the pace of change. Moving hastily. But this year, though I'm far from home, in Trench I'm not alone. These faces facing me, they know. They know what I mean.